Shake him up a little.
We're not.
No more surprises.
I'll call the meeting of Budget and
I hit my
Finance
max.
Committee to order. Okay, can we turn this down?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mark, can you give us an idea of where we are at?
I can.
And I guess we will just, we'll just proceed down the list once we have an
I'm gonna
idea.
be working off of a Excel version of the budget wrap-up, so I can keep that updated as we move through today. The first section is the staff updates. Largely, those are better information as it became available from when we put out the original budget till now. That is $57,850 less than the original proposed budget.
Does that
Variety of
include-
items.
Does that include, we got an email from Tyler about an increase in health care.
That does include the change in health insurance of
What number is
$9,300.
Where's that? What, 6?
16.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So that's where we begin with after staff updates, which are really just revisions, technical revisions.
so that puts us at, I'm looking on the page 3 at 12,102,320. Is that right? No.
It'd be two numbers to the right of that. 12,000,770.
Okay, so we're at a 4.48%
But
increase.
within that number,
Yeah,
staff has started the conversation by presuming the ones that were within the A group, both in capital and in the general government, would be adopted. So we already programmed those changes in, subject to your review, of course. So that's where the first two items on page 2 shows a change in the levy impact.
so wait, so the 12,770,000 includes everything that's A or A2 on here?
Or just the top two?
Well, on that page, it's just the top two, right?
So the so just so I'm clear, what is it?
I'm just texting her to say, why doesn't she text me
Yeah.
when she's ready?
So
That's a good idea.
the 12,770,000 includes all the reductions from staff
Right.
and these two on, the
Those
top
two.
two on page 2.
Right,
And
'cause-
nothing else.
Right, because if you look on the levy impact column, just to the right of the yellow,
Yes,
those are reflected.
I see.
And then the same thing with the first three items on the next page in capital. There seems to be a general
Yep.
sentiment that those were going to, so I've just started out by putting those in. Obviously, we'll still go through them in case that is not my interpretation, does not prevail, but, and then, David will probably just work through the B groups and,
Okay, well,
then go to C groups.
yeah, well, let's just make sure we're okay with A and
Sounds
so,
great.
So, review funding of furniture equipment, so reducing that by $1,500. I'm okay with that. Okay. Review continuation of Nixle. That's a reduction of $4,200. I mean, I'm okay with,
Yeah, that's okay.
you're on a different one.
Mine's just a handwritten.
Yeah, but are you working from what Mark handed out?
Yeah, it's the same thing, I just got a different page.
All right. I mean, I'm okay with that as long as we have some other communication mechanism.
We do, and we can still use Nixle with email, but it just won't be the text alert that
Oh.
you currently get. So we can use the portion of the free portion, and that sends out the email, but just doesn't send out the text message, just so you're aware. But we'll also implement Twitter and Facebook, so I think we should be good. And then if it's really, really bad next year, we can talk about it for 2022.
So how does Nixle actually, or is it the person who's in charge at the time who will go and do the entry into Nixle?
Correct.
So they'll do Twitter and Facebook at the same time?
Usually.
Okay.
Sometimes it may be a sergeant that does not have the Twitter credentials. We've limited that to just a couple of people, but for the most part, we can get that out pretty quick. And we have been. We try to put it out on all formats.
All three, okay.
So I'd like
Okay.
to say something about that, because I'm not completely in agreement that for $4,200, that decreasing I don't know how many people rely on those messages or really appreciate it, but one of the things this board always talks about is communication to our residents. And this is a way to get communication in real time. I mean, not everyone has emails go directly to their phone. You know, a lot of us get overwhelmed with spam and don't always want to be continuously bothered, so, $4,200 for, you know, letting people know in our community in real time that there are safety concerns in the neighborhood, I'm not sure if that's a wise cut, so. But if you guys all, you know, wanna go for it, that's, of course, I can't stop you.
How many people get the texts from this?
I had the numbers for last meeting. I think we looked and we had sent out a minimal number this year as compared to last year. That's because crime has gone down. So I just will reiterate that when I first got here and we looked at going away from Nixle, I had a lot of pushback because people did enjoy getting the text alerts because they knew it was something that they should read. This year we haven't sent out many because crime thankfully has been really, really low. It really has, and that's been great. And so I think we've only sent out 3 or 4. So if you do the math on that, that is expensive per alert. But I do say, and people did like getting that when crime does happen or there is something important. I know that DPW's talked about sometimes incorporating that in, if they had something that they'd get out too, they could send it through that messaging system. But you can still use it just in the email format. So I just, it is a tough one, but because the cost benefit of it, it's, you know, so.
Or can you send out, something to people saying, we won't be using text anymore, but we'll sign up for email and here are other ways to, just so people who are used to getting the texts know?
Yeah, and most certainly will do that,
Okay.
if that's the route we go.
Could you also set your notifications in Facebook so you get a push notification if there's something, like the way that people are following the Shorewood Police Department, they could get a push notification, so every time the Shorewood Police Department posts something, they would get, it wouldn't be a text, but there would be a notification on their phone. I mean, I definitely hear that sentiment. I think that some of the instant news stuff is sometimes hard to filter and sometimes sort of creates this thought that there maybe is more crime than there really is, especially knowing that our statistics have been going down. So that's sort of the cost per time is why I think that we could move away from it, especially if we can communicate that maybe your preferences on Facebook would give you that push notification. So I'm okay with it.
I'm fine with it, the chief is, but 2 things on what you just said. One is, I'm not sure, well, that's assuming that everyone uses Facebook or wants notifications on their phone. I don't know that, I didn't know that you could specifically go in and only get alerts for one thing. I don't know that Facebook is set up in that level of detail. And then number 2, it's not our job to be responsible for how people interpret the data that we give them, especially, so if people are worried that there's more crime because they're getting alerts, that's on them. I think it's up to us to allow people to have the opportunity to get the information, how they interpret it from there,
Okay, well, in the interest of time, who is in favor of reducing the texting of Nixle as long as we have many other venues for communication?
It's okay.
Okay.
I had a
Looks like
question.
4 out of, oh, I'm sorry, 5 out of 6.
I had a question on rating. What's A2 mean?
Welcome. This service is provided by.
A2 is not technically a full A,
Enter your access code.
but,
I asked medical.
but it's close. So it's just a grouping. But I just didn't want to give you the impression that
A is
it,
how many of us listed it as, or one?
A is technically no fours. A2 would be, there was predominantly ones and twos and one four.
Hey there.
Okay.
Okay,
So that's really the, it fit better in the A group than the B group, but not a full A.
okay, so what, okay, so we're good with, Allison, we just approved on the second page, under general government, the A2 and the A, the Nixle, reduction and the furniture and equipment reduction. Do you guys mind if we move to the A's and A2s on page 3, just to get through the A's? Okay. So facility condition assessment, I mean, I thought this was something that probably our facility maintenance guys would be able to, at least have the information, if not, produce a written report, but it's something that that we possibly could at least get some way on, just in-house. Alternatively, we could look at just postponing this to next year, but.
Can we fund it out of the general fund reserve?
Well, it's a one-time, so yeah. Conceivably, we could, yeah.
And if,
I would suggest anything that we're doing this year, just temporarily, that's a study or, an assessment that costs money, that we would use general funds.
Well, I mean, I think
Reserve.
there's a little bit, I think we do need to get to that question at the end.
Okay.
So, yeah, we could either put it aside and talk about that when we talk about one-time revenues, or,
I don't have a problem not doing this. I think we should be able to, we've done a lot with Department of Public Works yard, and I mean, we should be able to probably do most of it in-house. 20,000's a bit here this year.
I support not doing it.
so, yeah, I feel the same way. I just wanted to kind of ask, if we don't fund it this year, does that mean we're not doing it, or does that mean that, it could happen next year?
Could happen next year,
Right,
yeah.
so, I mean,
Every year
sort
is
of,
different.
right, so we're sort of saying, all saying the same thing, I don't know, we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement as well.
Why don't, okay, so it seems like, we're okay if we come up with 20,000 extra at the end, we can come back and fund it, but looks like that one, by consensus, we're good.
And also, if we're thinking about, well, we can do it in-house, the question then is, I heard it from 3 of you, the question isn't, are we gonna fund it next year? The question is, can we get it done this year in-house? And I don't know, I need Rebecca's input on that.
So one of the reasons why I've suggested the facility condition assessment be outsourced is because we can gather the baseline data, but the recommendations on how to move forward with it. Seems we come to a crossroads with that. And our board has typically desired to get an outside looking in order to provide those recommendations on how to move forward with the facility. If you don't move forward with it next year, that's okay, given some of the other juggles that we've had in terms of scheduling. But it is something that you will need to do in the future as we look towards what the future of that facility is. And it'd be my
Yeah,
recommendation
I
that you
think
have the
that's-
person providing the recommendation be an external party.
We don't have the technical expertise to make those recommendations.
What are you, I mean, are we talking all the buildings? So we-
On the public works site
Oh, on the
department.
Public
I thought
Works
this
side.
was
I thought it
Village
was
Hall and
every-
Village Center.
And, right, we would also put Village Hall in it. We've never really had an assessment on this since it's been added on to, from my understanding, which was in the late 80s, early 90s? I mean, right, late 80s.
I wasn't here, but that's.
Okay, right.
Wait, so this is DP, the yard, I thought it was Village Hall and Village Center that this was talking about.
But it also included Public Works.
It's all our facilities. I still think we need to do it, and with an outside consultant for sure. The question is, what year and what funding, and I'm okay, I think the timing's right, especially if we did the organizational analysis for DPW. We could do it, we just have to use a different fund.
And so I hear you, but I do think, given the fact that, since we've submitted on capital budget, I would encourage you to do your organizational study first and then lead with this second.
Okay,
A part of the reason why it's not just about Public Works but the other facilities is that we don't have a good track record all the time about planning proactively for our facilities. And that's not how I operate. That's not how you should run in a place with your facilities. We're in one of the oldest buildings here, so that's a great honor to me. And at the same time, during the short term of life that I will be here, I want to make sure that we're doing our best job to, maybe nothing happens in the next 10 years with the building, but at least that we're forecasting and we're on the edge of that. There have just been a couple of things that have come up that I think we could be a little bit more proactive on, but I do think it takes someone looking at it from the outside. When you look at the Public Works facility in general, I think you need a fresh set of eyes who's more geared to looking at that. But it makes sense to do following your organizational analysis.
But I mean, for Public Works, there's a facility conditions assessment of just saying, okay, these are the issues with the building. This is how much life we have in the roof, the boiler, the plumbing, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Public Works, we have kind of a bigger question of utility of the yard in those buildings for what we're trying to do. It's a bigger question. So, and I don't want to slow down on moving forward with whatever we're doing with the yard, because I think we have issues with the salt shed and like how much more investment do we want to make in the yard, because the yard may not be the long-term best solution for us. So, so I was confused about what, I thought this was just issues specific to buildings, this building and Village Center, because now it's sounding more like this is our next step in dealing with